Now, okay, so now we're back to the part of the story where we're in the reception gallery, right? And I'll be sure comes out and they give a standing ovation.
If you tied me up and stood me on the ledge of a aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean, and you put up 3 pictures of 3 random people that had the same complexion as Albie Sure in present day, and told me to point him out, and if I didn't, I would be thrown over, dude. I'd be shark food. Like, I wouldn't know. I'd be shark food, bro. I have no clue who Buddy is, man.
Yeah.
And it's not the crap on him, because I used to be doing. I think Albie Sure went to the Summer Jam '88 or '89. I was there. I'm dating myself now because I was at that mug doing a running man. And
But the funny thing of it was, Tip, right, is, oh man, like because like I said, it was like 60-40, right? So the women were going crazy. The older women were going crazy because that was their heyday.
That was a crush.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? So now.
That's like if Dipset showed up somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
You lose your mind.
I have my pink shirt and, you know what I mean? My Dipset chain, right? Oh, man, I'll be out there talking about, yo, son, you know what I mean?
Hey, if Little Flip would have been there, I probably would have been like,
yeah,
hey,
you'd have had your starch jeans.
my polo boots.
Yeah, looking foolish. Looking like one of them little, not Gumby characters. Like if you fold paper into a cartoon
I know
character.
you're talking about,
man. Yeah. So now, after they acknowledge him, then the next representative comes out and he acknowledges, the chambers, right?
Yeah.
The black chambers. So they stand up, and then after that, they usher us out, right?
Yeah.
So you get acknowledged. Moving on, but again, the whole point of that part of the story was to highlight how, in the legislative chambers and session, right, deals and negotiations were taking place.
Yeah.
Hands
were being
floor.
shook.
All over the floor.
Yeah.
Right? And while that's taking place, they're acknowledging us. More symbolism. Right?
Black people love a good symbol, man. We love a good symbol. I say we, I'm black. I used to love a good symbol too. I think the biggest symbol that I attached myself was the Obama presidency. I mean, that was the best symbol in black history. That took the cake. I voted for him twice. Hadn't got any policy from him. I take that back. I got great policy because I'm a veteran. Veterans cleaned up under the Obama administration.
Yeah. If you want to park there for a hot second, the first time around was like, man, this is historic, right?
It's historic,
man. I mean, you kind of felt
he could have had a pitchfork,
yeah,
horns, and a tail, and he would have got my vote.
Oh yeah. And I was in Afghanistan at the time, right? So we're in the DFAC, the dining facility. For those who don't know, we're in the dining facility at the time, and as they're announcing it, right, you saw it. When they said the next president, Barack Obama, all the black people, my president is black, right? They playing the Jeezy and Jay-Z record, right? They playing all that. And then you saw quietly the white people just walk out.
Yeah.
I mean, just sat down with their food and getting ready, and it was like, just picked their food up and just walked out.
Yeah.
Quietly, right? And black people showing up, oh, yeah. So I worked with a white guy at the time, and he was like, but what is he going to do for you? He asked me that, and I'm like, what do you mean? He black. He was like, no, what are you going to do for you?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. Shout out to Greg Gruder. That was his name. Greg Gruder, right? We used to call him Gunmaster.
That sound like the whitest white dude in the world,
Listen,
man.
Greg, he was a white dude from the East. I think it was from Jersey, right? He had the deep Jersey accent. And we used to call him Gunmaster Gruder. That was my nickname for him, right?
Yeah.
And he was just, but Alan, what is he going to do for you? Like, what is he going to do? He just kept saying that. And I'm like, man, he black. Yeah. And then
that's all he got to do.
That's all he had to be.
You know how many black people got fired from their job because of Obama? Black men specifically. Like, I know one particular manager got rid of me because I was supporting. I know for a fact that he couldn't stand the fact that I celebrated. Because I called in the day of the inauguration. He had to get something on me, man. You know how many black people got shot, unarmed by the police, and how much bad stuff happened specifically to black men during his presidency, and he didn't create one single policy to protect us because we didn't give him any money.
lobby.
We didn't lobby. That's how the game works, people. Nostalgia does not produce policy. Paper produces policy. And your guy, Greg Gruder, was absolutely right, because the question is, what is he going to do for you specifically? And I had to learn that, the first 4 years, it was just nostalgia. But then I started really paying attention to it. And I was like, man, this guy is bailing out banks. He's, going for the healthcare industry. He's creating legislation for immigration. He's creating legislation for the LGBTQIA+. Pardon me if I left off a letter or an abbreviation, because I know it keeps growing longer and longer as the days go by.
What Dave Chappelle said, he on 20%.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not a joke. That's literally reality, because I just watched a video yesterday, and this dude, he threw something else in there. He did legislation for veterans. As a veteran, I took advantage of the way he redid the GI Bill. It's like, you got to go back for 3 years. You got to complete your degree in 3 years, but we'll pay for your mortgage. I'm like, bet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was able to get my mortgage paid for 3 years and complete my undergrad degree in 3 years, bro. And then I went off to grad school and took advantage of them. And so as a veteran, I cleaned up under President Obama. First time home buyer program. He continued the program that Bush did with the $8,000 credit. I think Bush did $7,500. He did $8,000. But again, that impacts everyone. That's not a specific thing when it comes to us. But he did create legislation that was specific for others, and that's why I said I subscribe to the symbolism too. And if I can keep it a buck, just 100 with you, my guy, everybody that's listening, I personally felt like Mitt Romney was the better candidate the second time around. And I didn't decide who I was going to vote for literally until the day of the election. When I started looking at the policies, because Mitt Romney had his own version of affordable health care in Massachusetts. It was actually a pretty good model.
Yeah, that's all the plan was. It was Mitt Romney's plan.
It was Mitt Romney's plan.
Obama on there, and they added a couple other things.
They added a lot of other things. But when I looked at the policy, you guys, not the person, the policy. I had to admit, like, he ain't really doing anything for black people as it relates to policy. It's a kumbaya. And then what sealed it for me was when, I don't know if it was when Trayvon Martin got killed.
Yeah, it was Trayvon.
And he came out and did the whole,
If I had a son, he would look like Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, he did that.
But you need to get him out the streets.
Yep. And he wagged his finger at black people. He did it for Mike Brown. Mike Brown's situation was a little different when you look at the facts of that case. He shouldn't be dead. I'll give him that. I wish that he wasn't dead, but there were some things that, you kind of look at like, man, I just wish Buddy would have just went home. You know what I'm saying? But, the Flint water crisis, like, he went up there and kind of did that little, you know what I'm saying?
He put that to his lip.
He patronized black people, man. And then
Gates.
Then he wagged his finger at us and told us to shut up and go home. Like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't expect for a black man to do that to his people. But are we really his people?
Now, that's a question, man. That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, we're
going to have to do a show on that.
Absolutely. We should.
Because we do that as black people. We buy into this all black everything. And me and you have talked about this, man. I was that dude for years. Like, Facebook has a way of humbling me, bro. Like, that On This Day feature on Facebook shows you what you were doing. And I recently, we celebrated like 9 years of Real Youth Mentoring and just taking the boys out of town and, just the stuff that we were doing. But I was so all black everything. And it was like trying to squeeze, blood from a rock, bro. Like, people I wasn't offering symbolism. And then I look at some of the people who had success, if you will, which was essentially notoriety. All of them sold their souls, and they sold out to an entity that essentially took credit for what they were doing and just put a black puppet up there. Yeah. And I ain't gonna say no names. You know who you are.
Yeah, 100%. But that's definitely a conversation. I think we should have a much broader discussion on that. But
we're not hating when we have this conversation, because that's what happens when a person starts talking accountability. Black people, instead of doing their research on it, we just, you hating. Yeah. Oh, man, you got to do your research, man. You have access to the entire world in your phone. And with ChatGPT and all these AI programs that can literally give you empirical data and sources, like, there's no reason why you can't fact check.
100%.